2 minutes.
Oh, God.
So
Try to work it
Oh,
out.
Yeah.
that was
You
before.
kind of have to get your
It
foot
was
in
the
it.
ultimate time we were already
That's what
fine.
one of
But they ruled that he was bringing the ball back down when he was taking the sack, and they ruled it no fumble. This is before the replay. That's what started one of the things that started the times.
Lauren? Wait for 1 more minute. So I'm gonna go away. Alright. Call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole, Monday, December 9th, 2019 to order. And begin with item A2, the introduction of Marcus Lebler, the Deputy Finance Officer, and I will turn it over to the CAO.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to have our CFO provide you with a little overview, and then he will do the official introduction.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm pleased to announce Marcus Lebler as the new Deputy CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Marcus is taking over for Heather Wilson, starting in her official retirement date is January 31, but her last day of work is going to be January 10th. And so Marcus is here now. He started December 2nd. I'm going to give you a little background of Marcus. He grew up in Penticton. He graduated from Penn High, Penticton Secondary, 2003. Spent a short-term, 3-year stint posted in Edmonton as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces. Graduated from Okanagan College in 2012, earning a bachelor's degree in business administration. Has worked with BDO Chartered Accountants in Penticton from 2012 to 2016. Passed the UFI, Uniform Final Exam. Is that what that stands for?
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that. I'm a CMA. So. Chartered Accounting School of Business Exam 2015 while employed at BDO. Left BDO for the municipal world in 2016. Landed the deputy treasurer job in the village of Carameus. Has been a resident of the beautiful community of Willowbrook since 2015. Has a wonderful wife, Lana, 1-year-old daughter, Naya, and a 3-year-old son, Ash. We met them the other day in the office, and they were to die for, the cutest little kids. I'm looking forward to serving. I'm looking forward for Marcus to serve and help me out in the town of Oliver. Thank you.
I look forward to it too. Thank you. Madam Chair, Councillors, I am really grateful for this opportunity to work for the town of Oliver. It's a bit of a step up from Carameus, but I am looking forward to the challenge and looking forward for hopefully years of service to the town of Oliver. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome, Marcus, thank you. And CAO, are there any late items?
Madam Chair, there are no late items to add on to the agenda.
Thank you. Then looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as circulated. Councillor Schwarzenberger, Mayor Johansson. Question, all those in favor, opposed, motion carried. Item D1, adoption of prior minutes, adoption of the November 12, 2019 Committee of the Whole minutes. Looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Schwarzenberger, second, Mayor Johansson. All in favor, opposed. On to item E1, water matters, the Town of Oliver new website official launch, and I'll turn it over to the CAO.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will pass this over to Ms. Begovic, who has done a lot of work on getting this. Her and her staff have done a lot of work, as well as the staff in other departments.
Thank you. To officially launch the Town of Oliver website, we're going to ask the mayor to cut the banner, and then I will show you the website on the smart board just briefly, some of the highlights of the area.
Anywhere?
Ready?
Yeah. Ready?
Ready.
This is one.
Thank you. So looking looking at the website just briefly, but I did want to advise council that the website is designed with a focus on improved communication and ease of navigation, search functionality, mapping, and access to our meeting portal. Residents will be able to look at our website on any type of device, as it's fully responsive, so you can be working on a computer. If we look down on your iPad, the pages will all squeeze in, and then if you go to your cell phone, again, they will squeeze in again, so it'll be very nice for looking for materials and information. Users will continue to be able to subscribe to notification for news and alerts and council meetings and a calendar of events. Accessing data from the new website, the system is called WordPress, so it's very easy to use to get some of that analytical data. If we're wanting to know what pages people are looking at, how long they're on the page, we can access that information quite promptly. There will be some key users who will be assigned to keep their pages up to date. We may form a little committee so that will keep people engaged, so our website stays nice and current. So just looking at the home page, you will see that we have 5 tabs at the top. What's happening, town hall, building, business and development, town services, and our community. There's a few images in there that will just rotate through, and the search bar is just in the middle. It's nice and big, so you can just quickly type in any kind of a keyword, and it will bring up pages that have those keywords on it. So if you're looking for something, you don't know what tab to go searching for, just type in the search bar, and that will take you to the pages. There's 5 icons on the home page: the Civic Web Portal, which is council's meetings and your schedule, where people can access the video that they're looking at right now. Email updates, if people want to receive agendas and minutes for a specific agenda for council, they can do that there. Contacting departments, upcoming events, and recent news. So scrolling down again, we've got another image there, and you'll see our recent news. We had a news release on Friday about the Harvest Hut, so that's now posted, and council's meetings, and as well Facebook, so the latest post on our Facebook. So that's all showing all on our home page. And another image, and then contact information down at the bottom. So just quickly looking at what's happening, we have events. Right now we have a space for the Gallagher Lake Siphon. It's just under construction right now, so we'll be able to start adding some information there for people who are looking to know what this big capital project is all about. News, and then council meetings. Town hall, bylaws, town hall bylaws, which is one page that we've been putting a lot of work on. So we've added in the bulk of bylaws that residents will be interested in seeing, and all in alphabetical order, which is very nice. Hopefully I can get back. There we go. Another page I wanted to show you is guiding documents. So these are council's guiding documents. Scrolling through the annual report, past annual reports, your strategic plan, the Community Safety and Crime Prevention 2019 Priorities document, bylaws, that'll click you to bylaws again, budget, and the Town of Oliver's organizational chart, if people are wanting to know who's in what department. Mayor and council as well. This has your images and contact information. We have the opportunity to add in bios. So if we receive those from you, we can put a little bit more information. So just scrolling down, you just click on the toggles and you'll see that your image comes up. I'll show all of them.
That's basically how it was before you clicked on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, quite.
Changed.
And then we added on the Abbott rendition, just for a little bit of fun. Property tax, that is a big, just a sec. Right over here. This will be a big page come June. People will be able to access information on property tax information. There's always a lot of questions. So we've created toggles for each section. See a typo here? Deferments, oh no, I guess that's right. And then links to other organizations. Down at the bottom, we've left little tabs here, so if people went to property tax when, oh, I need some information on utility billing, they can quickly just click over to the utility billing page and get some more information. If they have a question to the finance department, they can type in their name, email, and their account number, and it'll go directly to the finance email. Moving to building, business, and development. So we have bids and tenders, building, business licensing, economic development strategy. So this page has been quite active. We just added on the most recent survey, idea survey that the consultant is pushing out. That'll be live until the end of December. It's quite an interesting survey process where you add your ideas and then other people's ideas will be showing, and then you can rate them as well. It's like what's important to you, so it just tracks all this data all live as you're going through the survey, which makes it quite interesting. Town services, again, we have the airport, cemetery, capital projects, emergency preparedness, the fire department. That's quite an active page as well. Got some good images, and the fire department, they have an active Facebook page, so we've added their icon here, and that'll just click right directly to their Facebook page. And a little bit more information, open burning, wildfires, and we have our fire smart communities, and then a busy training picture, which is quite interesting. Garbage and recycling, that is a very active page again. We're looking to adding some information about, yes, it's here, holiday recycling, as we're heading into that season where we're generating more and more waste. So we want to give some information to residents on what's recyclable and what's not. There is a link a little bit farther down on this page. Maybe here. So Recycle BC has some information here about their holiday recycling tips and tricks as well. Back. Water. The water page is very busy as well. People are always looking for information on the water system. So there's lots of information here for that department with the cross connection, rural water, water quality, delayed irrigation in town. And again, we have some information here on the rock slide, which is getting a little bit dated, but still some good information to have. Our community, this is gives people just some general information about the town of Oliver. We have the About Oliver page where we have a bunch of toggles to other organizations that people are always looking for information, like Oliver Tourism, the Oliver Parks and Recreation, Parks and Trail, and the Oliver Suisse Winery Association, so that are direct links to their website, because those are active pages as well. And then some history about Oliver as well. Health services, that is a page that I wanted to show you. Most importantly is about the South Okanagan patient attachment list. We have some of those business cards in the office, and we've posted that on Facebook, and some people weren't even aware that this was available to them to put their name on a list if they're unattached to a physician. So click on this link and it takes them directly to that to add their name to the list, so that's a great service. Spirit of Oliver again, which is click on the right one, important page for Oliver. Going to be starting the planning for next year's Spirit of Oliver. So we have some information on who the past winners are, and then we put a little slideshow in that has each of their images from the 2018 awards. And volunteer opportunities. There are opportunities to volunteer in Oliver if they're interested. Here's a picture of one of our emergency support services volunteer during Emergency Preparedness Week. They set up at the fire hall. The adult literacy, they asked us often to help promote, and we did that, and they contacted me and they said, wow, we've got 2 people interested in volunteering already, so it does work. The Harvest Hut for next year, Crime Watch, Parks and Rec have a very active volunteer process as well, and the Restorative Justice Program. And then you'll notice on the side that we have the news releases, upcoming events just on every page, and then those toggles again, just at the side. And then you just click on the logo, it'll take you back to our homepage. Staff have been very busy the last few months updating the shell that contained all the content. So I think we're at a really good place right now that our website's functioning and has good information for residents and users. Thank you.
Very much, Councillor Michelle?
Is there anywhere there where like the business directory for our town? Somebody asked me that once.
I think that is under the business licensing. just
Like
under-
anybody who gets a business license, you know, it'd be a good idea to have them.
Yeah, so under business
You know,
licensing.
you pay a business license, then you've got to, they come
So
out.
just under business licensing.
So anybody who pays a
No.
business license.
There was a, right, that drop down menu you had, there was the one that said, business directory,
Under the About Oliver, do you think?
wherever you just found the business license.
Oh, okay.
Just curious, cause it'd be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's under building,
Business and development.
building business and
There it says
development.
business directory. on the
Business
left-hand side.
directory, there we go, you're right.
There you go, perfect.
There we go.
And it shows
So
up
that's
with-
connected with the South Okanagan Chamber of Commerce, yeah. Thanks, Randy.
Any other comments or questions?
That's just chamber members.
That's what I would guess, cause
Yeah.
it's their link.
It's their like,
Mm-hmm.
I thought more people who bought, anybody who bought a business license from the town hall could be listed there as somewhere, would be a good idea, that's all.
Did we provide that to them? That one I would have to check. I
We-
thought we did at one time provide it to the chamber, but.
We usually provide that information either to OTA or to the chamber as to who has business
Might be on
licenses.
their link.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've asked us in the past.
That's awesome. Page looks awesome.
Great, thanks.
Very nice, nice job.
Do we do all of that in-house?
The shell was built through a grant when you had the rural dividend.
For the
for
Oliver
branding. For the branding. So the shell was built, but then all the pages needed to be refreshed. There was multiple pages that were kind of redundant, so we combined. Because you don't want many pages on a website. You'd rather have one page with toggles for information and where you can get more information. So, but
But we do it in-house, it's all
Yes.
in-house.
pretty much, yeah.
So does the search bar, is it kind of intuitive and takes you?
Yes, I could do a trial for you. So we could type in, what do you want to search for?
Christmas light up,
Okay.
take that and see what happens. What comes up as a story of
Can't find.
Okay.
But that's
Give away
funny.
that service.
Well, the only thing that might have been tagged is in our Facebook posts or something like that.
Yeah.
So try,
Let's try Christmas.
Are there links on there to our Facebook?
Yes. Frequently asked questions, so there, it did go there for Christmas, I just typed Christmas.
what do you do with your Christmas tree?
Yeah, probably what you do with your Christmas
If
tree.
you
Just search like apply for a
typed
permit.
in their,
Apply for a
policies
permit.
or bylaws,
Yeah.
either one would take you.
Yeah, see if it just takes you right to the bylaws.
Won't take you to policies.
Oh, policy.
Yeah, so right here, it's bylaws,
Building by law enforcement,
Yes,
business
you do.
licensing.
Yeah.
Back to one.
so then I clicked on that and then it goes right to our bylaws, so.
Should.
That worked well.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Mentalon?
I was just gonna comment that there's some great photography on there. And do we have a photography bank now?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
Some nice stuff.
It came out of the branding as
Came
well.
out of that as well.
Yeah, and we have access to quite a few pictures.
And is it public access or it's just for ourselves?
There can be access by the public too. They have to sign a use agreement.
Oh, okay.
Like they can use a use agreement for our branding as well.
Right.
Thank you. Moving on to item F1, council policies, and I'll turn it over to the CAO.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I shall just pass this over to Ms. Vakovich. There was a request at our last meeting to start working on the policies, and we have just started. We provided you with council policies just so you can start reviewing them. So I'll pass it over to Ms. Vakovich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The rationale for this report is to provide council with current policies for information and review at a future meeting. As the CAO mentioned at the November 25th meeting, council requested that the council policies be provided for information. So they were all scanned in and attached to the report for your review. The hope is to review and analyze the current policies. To aid in that, a table will be developed, lists all the policies with columns that we can start identifying which policies will be reviewed, which maybe just need some amending, which ones can be abandoned. Some of the policies are not written in the correct format, they're more resolution than policy. So there is quite a bit of work to be done, but this is an opportunity for council to take some time and read through them. Possibly we can bring a half a dozen, 10 to future meetings and start going through them together. Thank you.
Mayor Johnson.
I was just gonna make a suggestion that maybe in our first meeting in January, we bring forward at least all the policies related to budget.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many of them there, but there is a few in consideration that we will be moving into budget later in the month. It's probably a good idea to review those ones.
Especially when you see things like, budget deliberation shall be performed in camera.
They
That's
should-
okay.
Yeah, I saw that one there, yeah.
No.
No, yeah. Absolutely, we can definitely do that. Bring the budget related policies to the first meeting in January. Preparation, because budget deliberation meetings are the 28th and 29th.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Renz.
I did take the time to go through all these. I have left a list of, I guess sort of, it was proposed motions, it was about 28 and consolidating, rescinding, that sort of thing, that I will, make sure that the rest of council is aware of, just as a starting point. I thought that we could make some progress on this tonight. I was hoping that we would begin the process. I didn't realize we were having a shorter meeting. I'm going to throw it on the table that, I'm going to make a motion that council rescind the policy regarding proclamations.
Do you know what page that's on?
I was trying to find it.
It's one page.
It's a one-page document.
One sentence.
I didn't get that far in my.
That would be 17, that's number 17 on your list. So I'm assuming that's page 17?
No, it's just the 17th one that I got to.
I'm down at page 84, and I haven't come across it yet.
204 pages. It took me an hour to go through. There's a lot of them that are just fine.
Are those ones, some of them are resolutions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was more of a resolution than it was, because they had names attached to the
Yeah.
top of it,
Oh,
right?
I found it. You
Yeah.
can search.
What page is it?
Page
Page what on?
125 of 204.
There it is.
Overshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarso Ross.
Zorzo Ross.
So it reads that no proclamations be issued from the town of Oliver for any events. So the motion on the table, do you have a second? I think we need a second first before discussion. Mayor Johnson, second. CAO?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You're rescinding this, but would you not want to replace it with another type of proclamation? policy.
Councilor Taylor?
I was gonna ask, that one seemed like number one on the list, so is there a reason for that? Why is
It came up in discussion as part of our last meeting as to why we have this policy and how it came about. And because there was, I believe, someone mentioned the possibility of doing proclamations. And when I looked at it, it wasn't so much that I thought that they were good or bad to do proclamations. It was just what this particular policy or resolution of council says is that it takes this council's choice away. And my view is that it should come before council and we will choose whether we wish to make a proclamation or not make a proclamation. But at this point, it won't even come before council because we do not make proclamations, period. So I just thought I thought each council should have the opportunity to make its own decision. This was made by a council many, many years ago, and I thought it was an opportunity for us to discuss it.
Councilor Schwarzenberg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yeah, I would like to discuss it, but I would like some background from staff on, you know, why this, maybe they don't know why it came up, but again, some of the ramifications, if you open this up, do you have to give, or are the proclamations, if you turn down a proclamation, is that, you know, can you get into legal trouble because you approve somebody else's proclamation, but you don't choose to approve this group's proclamation? So I'd just like some feedback from staff on what other towns and cities in the South Okanagan do, and if there are any implications, legal or otherwise, for doing proclamations.
Councilor Grice?
No.
Did you win?
Thank you. So I would just tend to agree with that. I think that, none of us came this evening prepared to rescind a policy, even like as simple as it may seem. It's a one-liner, and I don't disagree with anything that you said. But I think that having some information before we make a decision is important. If this is more urgent than some of the other policies, and we feel that we want to deal with it before we start slogging through all the rest of them, then perhaps a notice of motion so that we can deal with it at the next meeting would be more appropriate. But to just throw it up there without any other information, I'm uncomfortable with.
Councilor Grice?
I certainly understand the concern. Other towns do proclamations in the Okanagan. I can give you background on how this came about. Back in 1999, council was asked to proclaim Gay Pride Day or have a parade to that effect. And it caused a lot of controversy on council, and they said no, they would not do it. They were threatened with a lawsuit as a result. And as a result of that, they said we won't do any proclamations. And it's been that way ever since. And that's the background. That's how it came about. I'm not sure why they would have reacted that way rather than saying go ahead, sue us, as opposed to every other town in the valley does proclamations.
So, in my opinion, I would prefer to see, like, I don't agree with this policy, so I would like to see proclamations come to council on a case by case basis so that we can make the decision individually on their merits like we do with many other requests that are brought to council, in my opinion. I don't know if that would necessarily need to be as a new proclamation, or if that's just what would happen, or not, sorry, as a new policy, or if that's just what would happen.
That's just what would happen.
Mayor Johnson?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think there would be a policy. I was surprised to come here and find out that the town of Albert doesn't give proclamations. I came at a council meeting one time and somebody asked, and Councillor Schwarzenberger says, well, we don't give proclamations. Having worked in a municipality for 20 years that did that, it was a little surprising to me. I'm sure the the city of Kelowna does have a proclamation policy as well, though you don't just have, you have to have some kind of policy to, guide your decision making, I guess, and the protocols associated with that, so maybe we should, I don't know if we can amend that motion to bring back, ask staff to bring back a proclamation policy at our next meeting.
See ya.
Would be able to do
Thank you.
that.
You are able to put forward an amendment to the current,
Mhm.
resolution that is in there. If you wanna do a move it and that,
Could we amend it to ask for staff to bring back a proclamation, a policy that allows council discretion on providing proclamation?
I would support that, and in the meantime, I would like to have, as it is up there, the council rescind the proclamation policy and staff be directed to bring forward a new proclamation policy.
Can we call it a friendly amendment?
Absolutely.
Councillor Tony?
I'm just actually wondering more about process. So we have a thing called notice of motions to provide notice
It's on the page.
So that's what I was going to ask. We have a thing called notice of motions to provide notice to the public that we're going to be discussing a certain issue. And to avoid throwing out motions out of nowhere.
Willy-nilly.
So does this count as notice because the whole entire 300-page package was in the agenda? Or are we going about things perhaps the wrong way? That's a process question, that's not for any of us, I don't think. Unless one of us knows.
It's on the agenda, so we don't print all of our motions on any agenda items. They come up as we discuss the items. So in this case, it's on the agenda, so I have made a motion, and it's been seconded.
And
You
is
only
that-
give a motion when it's not on the agenda.
So that's what I was asking, is this considered on the agenda even though it's not specifically related to law?
CAO?
thank you, Madam Chair. It is considered an item on the agenda because it was attached and it has been received as an item. And, although we provided it to you for information, that does not preclude anybody from council putting forward a motion with respect to, items that are within that report.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Councilor Schwarzenberger and Councilor Palomino.
Any further discussion in regards to item F1, council policies? Councilor Benjamin?
I got caught up in that one, did we make a motion or need to make a motion that all of the budget-related policies be brought forward for budget time? Or is that just
I don't know.
direction?
There was not a resolution per se, but it
And
was
if
a
there doesn't need to be,
suggestion.
that's fine, okay.
Then, no. Item F2. Council policy commemorative recognition in outdoor spaces, and I will turn it over to the CAO.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I will pass this over to the corporate officer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The purpose of this report is to introduce a new council policy titled Commemorative Recognition and Dedications in Outdoor Public Spaces. This replaces council policy titled Memorial Benches. As a little bit of a background, in September of 2019, all of our council received a request from the Forbes family to consider a request to install a small plaque in memory of Mr. Forbes, Don Forbes, to be added to the wetland trail bench. At the time of the request, council had no formal commemorative recognition or dedication policy to guide in your decision, so it was returned back to staff. Reviewing the policy, we have a council policy specific to memorial benches that does provide opportunity for members of the public and organizations to recognize or memorialize through a donation of a bench on public park properties such as sidewalks, parks, and the cemetery. The fees for the memorial bench is set at the actual cost plus a 15% administrative fee. The new policy that's proposed establishes guidelines for council that outlines the types of commemorative recognition and dedication amenities. It could be a bench, a picnic table, or a tree that would be allowed in outdoor spaces. And further, that the fees are borne fully by the applicant, similar to the memorial benches policy. The memorial benches policy would be abandoned or rescinded. The commemorative recognition and dedication in outdoor public spaces helps enrich spaces while respecting the environment, maintenance considerations, and the broader community interest in the space. The policy will only be allowed for the following reasons, which would be to memorialize or honor individuals through the placement of a plaque or an amenity, such as a park bench, a picnic table, or a tree, and there could be a plaque mounted at the base of the tree. To acknowledge a major donation or sponsorship in a park or facility, to recognize a location of specific historical significance, and to recognize the contribution to the town of historical significance and of particular importance, such as a war memorial. Recognition and dedications would not be installed to recognize social, ethnic, or religious groups or community events. The town, in general terms, the town will notify if council chooses to proceed. They notify the Forbes family of the commemorative recognition and dedications in outdoor public spaces policy with respect to their specific request. When staff are reviewing the new policy, the Director of Operations did advise that development of an inventory would be required to outline the existing benches that need replacing and those that are beyond 10 years. There are some memorial benches in the community that could be replaced at this time. There would be some staff time required in the development of the outdoor public space amenity inventory. Looking at the policy specifically, I've gone through a couple of the points already. The amenity or monument in the policy on number 3 indicates that it must not interfere with other uses in the public space and should take into account maintenance and environmental considerations. Each installation, an agreement would be signed with the donor, and the proposed agreement is attached to the policy for your interest. The fees for the outdoor space would be fully borne by the applicant, which would be the actual cost plus labor, installation plus the administration fee. The outdoor space amenity would have a lifespan of 10 years from the date of installation, and the dedicators would have an opportunity to renew past that 10-year commitment if they wish to, which would include an additional fee. The wording and location of the commemorative recognition or dedication would be approved by the Director of Operations or its delegate. The final approval on the tree type, if that's what they chose to do, and the planting location would follow Oliver's tree inventory and management plan. And installation would occur twice a year, spring and fall, weather permitting, and that the town would keep a record of the outdoor space amenity. If a dedicator did not have the ability to purchase the entire amenity, the bench or the picnic table or a tree, they could contribute some funds, and the town could consider some sort of recognition, whether it be a letter or something. And the placement of memorial wreaths, flowers, or other items would not be permitted on the outdoor space amenity. So that's the policy before council for consideration. Your options are to adopt the policy as presented, refer back to staff for additional changes, and you may consider not adopting at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Mattis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to clarify, when I look at the paperwork that goes along with this, And in relation to the motion that's on there, the last line in council policy, memorial benches be abandoned. I noticed that that policy was never adopted. It says it, when I look at it, no effective date, and it's a draft. It's never been adopted by council, so there's nothing to be abandoned. It actually should never be in the policy manual. But on that note, with the change, I think it's a good, policy for us to have, the one that's been proposed as a new policy, I would certainly support it. And I guess open discussion, I will make the motion without the last line.
I, through the chair, I may have just attached a memorial bench policy that didn't have the effective date on it, because I believe it
No,
has
actually, I
been.
looked in the other policies that you copied through, and it's never been adopted.
Yeah, I could say.
The other 200-page document has
Mhm.
exactly the same one.
Right.
So we have a motion on the table, is there a second? Councilor Schwarzenberg, any discussion? Councilor Benjamin?
Oops. I assumed that this was done with lots of comparisons with other communities, but I just wanted to double check a couple of things, that the cost being borne 100% by the donee or the applicant, that's standard practice. And the term for outdoor space amenities being 10 years from the date, that's also pretty standard.
Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair, through the chair, those are consistent with other policies in the Okanagan.
10 years seems to be
I just want to question the exclusions. I don't know if that's common, but not allowing for social, ethnic, religious groups. So is that to say, you know, if the Christian Women's League wanted to put a bench in the park, they can't? As an example, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a religious group that popped into mind.
I would, through the chair, to the chair.
Thank you.
I think that would have to just be, looked at with the type of group that's coming to the organization. If it was the women's group of the United Church, I don't think that would be denied to put a bench or a tree up. I think that would be maybe a little bit too restrictive.
So it concerns me then that it's in the policy.
Where were you reading that? Which point is?
two.
Item
Page 6
2.
of our agenda. It's page 39 of the township there.
So it's got the exclusions of social, ethnic, religious, or groups, or I think religious groups or community events. Councilman?
You raised a very good point, I hadn't noticed that. So that community event where we put a plaque for the 100-year anniversary wouldn't be allowed under this.
When,
So I
We're
guess maybe.
recognizing the 100-year anniversary of the ditch.
right? That's not a community event, that's recognizing 100 years of the ditch.
Historical.
It could fall under historical, I guess, yeah. Councilman
Someone else?
Go ahead.
So I read that before and I kind of thought that questioned it, but didn't question enough to highlight it. But just hearing the explanation, which makes sense, that, you know, it's a, whatever example you just provided, that it probably would be okay, just makes me think that that wording probably needs to be expanded then, or changed somehow so that we're clear, because we might know what that means and you know what that means, but do they know what that means 50 or 20 years from now?
It's a hard and fast rule.
Celia?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering if you would like to include, except as noted above, recognition or dedication will not be installed to recognize these are, without consent of council. Like a review of council. So that you have that second opportunity to look at it and make that decision.
I think
Yeah, that's a good
fair.
option.
Yeah.
So procedure-wise, do we withdraw this motion?
No.
Make that motion and then come back to this motion?
You can just put through a motion to amend the current motion, by adding that item 2 be amended to include, not be
approval by council.
approval by council.
I might as well change, sorry,
Councilman DeVoe?
might as well change the wording while you're in there too, so as pointed out, it's social, ethnic, religious groups, not work
You-
groups.
You could probably take out, except as noted above, you could go with commemorative recognition or dedication will be installed to recognize these groups upon council approval.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
So we need a mover for the amendment. Councilor Schwarzenberger, seconder. Councilor Van Camilla. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, motion, the amendment is carried. Any further discussion on the amended motion?
So now it's a question on the motion as amended.
Not a question, but I was just looking for it, cause I thought I read in here something already, like it's good to have that included in there. But I thought I read something before that everything has to come before council for approval. I was sure I read that in there somewhere, cause I was reading it and going, okay, well, and then without council approval, nothing actually happens. Maybe it was in the corporate officer's report, that I mentioned that.
But it's, by adopting this policy, that's giving us our direction so that we don't have to come back to council each time.
That was the idea,
That's what this
was given to
would
the
do.
director or the designate.
Okay. No, I just remembered reading something, it in there, and just wasn't sure that we were writing it twice, that's all. I have no problem with the motion.
Yeah.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion as amended is carried. Moving on to item G, public question period. Seeing none, I will move to ask for a motion. Adjournment, Councilor Schwarzenberg, Councilor Camilla, all in favor, opposed? I didn't touch your chair.
Okay.
It seems
I didn't
better
touch
this
your
time.
chair.
I don't know, usually my legs are like dangling.
Alright, see you guys.